Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Yesterday, for those of you that paid attention, we began working on adding and subtracting of decimals. It's really very similar. We need to make sure we line our place values up. Ones place over ones place. Tenths place over tenths, hundredths over hundredths, thousandths over thousandths. And then we find sums and differences, just like we've done in the past. Sums are answers to addition problems. Differences, answers to subtraction problems. So let's look. First, we're going to do the first problem, but we're also going to talk about rounding. 29 and 8 tenths, subtract 3 and 266 thousandths. Now notice I have my ones place over my ones place, my decimal points, tenths over tenths. Let's just look at 29 is close to what? 30. 30 minus 3 is what?
27.
27. My answer needs to be somewhere near 27. So if you look at your paper now and your answer is not near 27, then you may have a big problem that could get you a speeding ticket in the future. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me why. I'm just saying I've seen it happen. Now, how many of you put 6 down here in the thousandths place? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. You just brought down the 6 and put the 6 in the thousandths place? All right. What we have to do is we have to put some placeholders there. We can't just have nothing there. Okay? Because in my pocket, I have 0 thousandths. Now, I would not let Ava come up here and run up here and take 6 out of my pocket because I have 0. So I can't do 0 minus 6. And you can't change it and just do 6 minus 0. So this is not going to be 6 down here. If you've got a 6 in the thousandths place, you do not have it correct. You don't. I'm just saying. So now if we look, let's say this is our 1. This is 1. In our 1, we have tenths. So each of the big rows is a tenth. Or columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right? So each one of these is a tenth. Okay? Each one of these little ones here is a hundredth, right? So how many hundredths are there in a tenth?
100.
There's 100 of these in 1/10?
10.
10. There's 10 hundredths in 1/10. But we go all the way up to the thousandths. And so I'm going to make this here is my 100. How many thousandths are in 100? 10. Good. Because if you remember when I had that picture up there and it showed that each of these is 10. So this has 10 in it also. And they're all the same size and there's 10 of them, whether you believe it or not. Your eyes may not be working as good as mine, or my eyes might be old and not working well at all. All right. So now I have 0 of these little thousandths. I have 0 of these tenths. Or of these hundredths, sorry. And I have 8 of these tenths. So now I got to do some shuffling around. I've got to take one of these tenths away. And now I'm going to add that to the hundredths. So how many hundredths did we say is in a tenth? 10. So now I'm going to add 10 to what I already have. So now that's 10 hundredths. But I still need some over 1,000. And so I have 1/10 right here. And how many thousandths are in my tenth? 10. So I'm going to regroup from there. And now we have it. Because 29 and 8 tenths is the same as 29 plus 7 tenths plus 9 hundredths plus 10 thousandths. It's exactly the same. But now I can subtract. I've gone and I've traded my tenths in and got hundredths. I took one of my hundredths in. I traded it for thousandths. So now I can do this. The difference between 6 and 10 is? 4. The difference between 9 and 6 is?
3.
The difference between 7 and 2 is?
5.
My decimal point comes straight down. Straight down. The difference between 9 and 3 is? 6. And I bring my 2. I don't have anything there. Was this close to my estimate?
Yes.
Yes. My estimate was 27. I always like to estimate ahead of time because if I line my numbers up wrong and I don't have my ones over my ones, then I'm going to get an answer that's crazy. And I need to see if it's close to my estimate. So that should be the first one. Oh, addition's easier though. We have 9 and 1/10 plus 36 and 28 hundredths. All right, what's 9 plus 36? Who can tell me?
45.
Add 10, subtract 1, 45. Good. My answer should be somewhere near 45. You know, when I'm adding 9 to something, I just add 10 and then subtract 1. So I'd go 36 plus 10 is 46. Subtract 1 is 45. I'm just saying. It's just a little thing I can do in my head that way. I cannot do it in your head. I can only do it in my head. All right. We put our 0 placeholders there. So I just have to add the 1. I don't have any 10s. So I have to put, in front of the decimal point. We always don't put the zeros in there. I have the sum of 0 and 8 is?
8.
8. The sum of 1 and 2 is?
3.
Decimal point straight down. The sum of 9 and 6 is?
15.
15. Because I could add 6 plus 10 is 16, minus 1 is 15. Woo, I have 110 there. And did I get close to my estimate?
Yes.
David told me my estimate was 45. I got 45 and 38 hundredths.
Let's go. Yeah, subtraction.
All right, last one is subtraction. I have 7/10. Subtract 4/1000. Now I guarantee you, I walk around and look at your papers, I see people that brought down a 4 right here, and that's not correct. That's not correct. No. So I add my place over here. Now I have 700 thousandths minus 4 thousandths. I can do that in my head. What's 700 minus 4?
700 minus 4 is 696.
696. I can do that in my head. I know how to subtract a 1-digit number real quick. I mean, I'm just saying. All right. The decimal review that I know you're doing because you wrote it in your agenda is going to have a couple things on it. I want to remind you how to do a couple things. First of all, if it asks for what the value of the underlying number is, which it's going to, and we have 3 and 749, and the 4 is underlined. What's the value of the 4?
400.
Good. My value is 400. So if it asks you for the value, that's what you'd put. Okay? Written like this, 400. Now, if the question was, which there will be the question like this, it says, what place value is the underlying digit? And then round to the underlying digit. So this section on your review today has 2 questions. What place value is it in? And round to that place value. So first we'll do what place value is this 4 in?
400.
Hundredths. That's the place value, it's just the hundredths. It's not asking for the value of it, it's just asking for what place is it in. It's in the hundredths. Now, the instructions will say round to that underlined place value. So I'm either going to add 1 or I'm going to add 0 to my 4, which will be 1. So I'm going to get 3 and 75 hundredths. Quick review of rounding. We have our test Friday. I may or may not have attached it to a Google Classroom post from, I don't know, before today. Probably last week. I don't remember. You may want to look at it because it's the exact same test you're going to have. Boom! Shakalaka, peace out. God bless. Love you. Do something kind today. Save the day.